There's more! I'm back! CGI shit!
I rest my case.
It was fucking horrible!
Hey guys, what's up? It's BigJackFilms here, and welcome back to another opening night Star Wars edition. This time around, the last 2 weeks we've been taking a look at a couple of the Disney Plus shows that I've finally caught up on, and this time we're picking up where we left off from Tales of the Jedi, that being the following season, Star Wars Tales of the Empire. Now, as of this recording, Tales of the Underworld also just dropped, and I have watched it, but I will get to that next time. But we're here to talk about Tales of the Empire, another two-part series of short stories, each about 10-15 episodes long, like 10-15 minutes long each episode. And I think there's a grand total of, 6 or 7 this time around. But in this case, we focus mainly on two characters in the Star Wars franchise that don't get enough attention, but one of them was introduced in, I think, in the Ahsoka show, and the other is a much-loved Jedi character. Let's start with the latter, with the first one. There's this Night Sister. I cannot remember her name already. It's probably because I haven't watched Ahsoka yet. I've seen clips of it, but I don't know enough of this character, who is one of the Night Sisters who becomes the main antagonist in that show, from what I've been told. And this follows up on her origin stories and how she came to loathe the Jedi, the Empire, and so on. With the first arc being about her being set during the Clone Wars, and we see, out of buttfuck nowhere, General Grievous, which he looks amazing, he's intimidating, he's scary, he's killing all these Night Sisters, and he's just wiping clean. And we focus on this character surviving that ordeal. If you guys have watched the Clone Wars, General Grievous did attack Dathomir, where the Night Sisters are held, and he got into a scuffle with Asajj Ventress, and you know the shebang if you watched the Clone Wars show. But with that said, this Night Sister escapes. Her entire line has been essentially wiped out, and so this whole arc focuses on her trying to survive in the midst of the Empire, eventually actually getting to work with them personally, and also meeting up with Grand Admiral Thrawn, who, I like Thrawn. Thrawn's awesome. And what's also really cool is there's a great, one of the episodes has a transition where you see the transition between the Republic Star Cruisers and the Imperial Star Destroyers, and it's wonderful. Really cool transition of going from like that to what we ultimately see with the Empire, which I think is a nice little nod. It's also cool to see that the Empire are scumbags in this case. They steal ideas she had personally to help better their technology because they don't give a fuck. But all in all, I will say that this arc is actually a little bit forgettable. Maybe it's because I don't know this character much yet, so I have to kind of get adjusted to her. But overall, while it was cool to see things like Grievous, like the ultimate build-up of the Empire, it wasn't really something I was really interested in 100%. What I was interested 100% in was the follow-up storyline that involves a Jedi that we always wondered after the Clone Wars what happened to her. That, of course, being Barriss Offee, who was the apprentice of Luminara Unduli, if you've watched the Clone Wars and Episode 2. They fought side by side, and if you guys have watched the Clone Wars, you also know Barriss Offee is not only one of Ventress's best friends, she's a traitor. She already knew that the Jedi were falling from grace. There's a great video by a YouTuber. He did this documentary called How Legacy Dies, the Politics of Star Wars, or How Liberty Dies, the Politics of Star Wars. Check it out. It really dives into more of that aspect of the mythology. But with Barriss Offee, we see what happens to her after she bombed the Jedi Temple, framed Ahsoka for the attack, and ultimately tried to get away with Ventress's sabers as well. She was basically going to commit to the dark side. And during the events of Episode 3, she was locked up in one of the highest prisons in Coruscant. She had witnessed seeing the Jedi Temple be attacked and saw the fall of all that stuff, and she didn't really understand what ultimately happened until after she got out, because she is actually kind of released on bail because the Emperor needs Inquisitors. So, what happens? We find out Barriss Offee became an Inquisitor. And it's cool that that was ultimately what she would become, but I think there is some lackluster moments where I feel this character was kind of wasted and just shoehorned in and just told, let's just wrap up her story, which I honestly think is a bit disappointing. Now, granted, I wanted to see her go this step. I wanted to see her as an Inquisitor. But I didn't like the way her story ultimately wrapped up here. It is cool that she gets to meet up with the Grand Inquisitor, I believe once again played by Jason Isaacs, which I think is really cool. And then does meet, without any dialogue, does meet Darth Vader. We do see Vader in this show briefly in a cameo. But we don't get much out of it. We don't get too much into it. You could actually assume that maybe Vader sent her on a mission intentionally for her to die, because after the events of the Clone Wars, he has every justified reason to hate Barriss Offee. But here it's not really kind of like, it's very lackluster. It is cool that we see her there, but I would have liked to see her ultimately show up in Rebels. I would have liked her to show up even in the Ahsoka show, maybe Season 2. You need that unity between these two once great friends, now enemies, to see these two fight. I think that is something a lot of fans wanted to see. Now, she does kind of bite the bullet in this arc, in this story. But I don't know, maybe this show kind of implied maybe she lives, maybe she dies, I don't know. But it is, again, a little disappointing that Barriss Offee just gets shafted. Just very quickly, it's almost like Dave Filoni was like, let's just get it over with because I left that gap in. A lot of people assumed that the Inquisitor we saw in Rebels, who was voiced by Sarah Michelle Gellar, actually turned out to be Barriss Offee. But again, it's a little disappointing that it's not. But I did prefer that story over the first arc of Tales of the Empire. And a lot of people agree that this season of the Tales show is a little lackluster. It feels a little shoehorned in. And not many people really got into it, because you hear Tales of the Empire, you expect, like, really cool stuff involving the Empire, but it feels a little held back by Lucasfilm, which is a tad disappointing. Now, where do I rank this in comparison to Tales of the Jedi? Tales of the Jedi is still a hell of a lot better than this. But I still do have... There are moments in this one that I do like. So, brief analysis on Tales of the Empire. It's okay. It's nice to see Barriss Offee back. It's cool to see more of things like Grievous and the Empire. But it feels like you could have added a little bit more to this. A lot of fans have actually been asking for a Tales of the Sith, or, you know, a Tales of the Empire Season 2, do another round, which I think this is a cool way to do it, but it definitely feels like they should just do another season of, like, Clone Wars or Rebels or whatever. I don't know, but it's just cool to see this format done, and kudos to Dave Filoni for continuing these little stories. So, overall, didn't think this was... I thought this was pretty good, but it's a little lackluster for me with some character choices. So, I'm gonna give this one a good... I don't know, maybe like a 7 out of 10. It's still cool to see certain characters, but it feels like it could be a hell of a lot more. Maybe a 6. I'll make it a 6. It needs a little bit more, and it's lacking that. Now, what about the follow-up show, Tales of the Underworld? Well, I'll tell you guys about that next time. But for now, let me know your thoughts on Tales of the Empire in the comments section below. Don't forget to support our Patreon, just $1 more, we'll get you early access to all of our content, as well as other special features. And I've also got a few requests backed up that I have to do, but other than that, let me know what you think about Tales of the Empire, and I would say check it out if you're like a hardcore Star Wars fan, but for the average folk, you could probably skip this. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time on Tales of the Underworld. So until the next video, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms signing off, and yeah, check it out. Tales of the Empire. It's okay. It's not Tales of the Jedi, but I do like this Tales series. We'll pick it up next time. Until whatever, take it easy. Bye.